Welcome to Parent Squad. I'm Felicia Lawrence, and today's hot topic focuses on kids and caffeine. There are so many options out there today, from energy drinks to sodas, teas, and even some snacks. It's easier than ever for kids and teens to access these caffeine products. So what do parents need to know? Here to help us figure it all out is Franciscan Health Medicine Dr. Lucas Huffman. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be back.
The caffeine is everywhere. It's kind of a normal part of American culture. And a lot of these drinks, especially the energy drinks, they look fun. They look attractive to children. So starting there, why are youth more sensitive to caffeine than moms and dads?
Yeah, I think you're right there. The marketing is, everything looks fun, the drinks look fun, cool, but kids are much more sensitive to caffeine for a couple of things. One is their bodies are just smaller. So they're drinking the same drinks that we're drinking and just getting a much higher effective dose per whatever they're drinking: Coke, energy drinks, coffee. Additionally, that their nervous systems are still developing. So they're much more sensitive to stimulants such as caffeine, some of the anxiety, and they metabolize it slower. So the caffeine stays in their body longer.
That makes sense. I mean, it's a different body, a smaller body. It would have a different effect. Yeah. So we know too much caffeine can lead to health risks, especially in the young people we're talking about. So let's go through some of those health risks that if they have a teenager who might be getting some caffeine at school or pop at school or something like that, what are some things that parents might notice?
The first thing for sure is sleep. As we talked about, the kids metabolize it slower, so the caffeine may still be in their system when it's time to go to bed. So if you notice that your kid is not getting to bed at the same time, or they're unable to, they're falling asleep much later, they're feeling tired in the morning, that may be a sign that they're taking too much caffeine, maybe too late in the day. And we talked about the nervous system, so anxiety, mood swings, disorders, jitteriness, that kind of goes hand in hand with even what we feel as adults: the palpitations, the anxiety, the jitteriness, the shakiness. Yeah. Sometimes people can get some stomach upset, GI changes, or just change bowel habits. So if your kid is complaining about that, maybe consider caffeine or look into what they're drinking daily. Then the last thing is dependence. I think as adults we are very aware of this. If we don't drink our morning caffeine, we get headaches, migraines. Your kids can feel that same thing. So be aware of that and ask them questions about that.
Yeah. So how much is actually too much?
Yeah, but it's actually very shocking. So the American Academy of Pediatrics, which it kind of overlooks all of our pediatric population, has recommended that children under 12 actually don't consume any caffeine daily routine. And 12 to 18, you get about 100 milligrams of caffeine maximum. That's not a minimum, that's a maximum that they should get. 100.
And it's roughly a cup of coffee, a small cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, a small cup of coffee or a soda, but oftentimes if we talk about those energy drinks, we're much beyond that mark with just one drink.
Yeah, I remember in pregnancy I looked at my Celsius drink and I completely cut them out, but I remember saying it said 220 milligrams of coffee. I'm like, we're working on 2 cups of coffee, a cup of, maybe a cup and a half, and it's marketed as this healthy energy drink, which I know has, other vitamins and stuff in there.
Right.
But to be aware, I feel like we have to train our teens to be aware at least of how much you're getting, so that when you go to get the fun frou-frou drink at Starbucks because you're out with your friends or at the mall or something, to ask, like, how many pumps of espresso is in this drink? How much sugar is in this drink? You kind of got to ask and be aware.
Yeah, it's important because you made a good point. Even us as adults, sometimes we don't know how much caffeine is in the things that we are drinking. So it's hard for us to educate our kids without that knowledge ourselves.
And you kind of mentioned it, caffeine can hide in unexpected places. Do you have some examples of where people are not really counting and realizing? Of course, if you go to Starbucks, you 9 times out of 10 are going to leave with something caffeinated unless you specify otherwise. But that's not the only place.
Yeah, caffeine can be in a variety of different things, actually. One interesting thing is that the product to make chocolate actually has caffeine in it itself. So a lot of chocolate flavored items or even coffee flavored things can have caffeine in them. The iced teas that we're drinking, even the Starbucks that you're not getting at the Starbucks store, but you're buying at the Kroger or Walmart, has obviously some caffeine in it. Caffeine can sometimes hide in our medicines too. A lot of headache medicines have caffeine in them. Midol has caffeine in it. Some cold remedies have caffeine in it. So when your kid is already drinking some caffeine and then they have the headache and you're giving them headache medicine that has caffeine, sometimes we're going much over the limits.
It's certainly, I didn't think about the medicine aspect at all. And we did a story not too long ago. It was a caffeinated lemonade at Panera Bread. And you know, you're like, okay, bread is so healthy. Okay, maybe there's a little sugar in the lemonade, but surely it's fine and safe. And someone had gotten sick from a very caffeinated lemonade. So
Yeah.
it was another place that was just kind of snuck in there.
Yeah, it hides everywhere. Even the refreshers that we get at Starbucks can have caffeine in it, although less than coffee, but there still is caffeine in them.
Okay, so parents, even for ourselves as well as for our kids, we need to be reading the labels, teaching our kids to read the labels, encouraging water, modeling healthy habits. So if your kids see you drinking 4 cups a day, what do you think they're going to do?
Absolutely, yeah. That's a good point, is we have to be models of good health, and it's okay if we don't know things as parents. That's why we watch shows like this, to educate ourselves, and then we can educate our kids. We don't have to be punitive in what we're trying to take all of the caffeine away from them, but helping them understand what caffeine is, what it does, what does it do inside of our body. If they're drinking a soda, maybe ask them, do you know what's inside of that? And then make it a game to read the ingredient list or the nutrition labels.
Like that. That's a good one, because then you kind of put the onus back on the child a little bit, really encouraging that responsibility, that self-regulation. Really good.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Huffman, thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So we know caffeine is everywhere, but the key here is education, awareness, open conversation about the risks. We've actually have more on Franciscan Health at WTHR.com/Parent Squad. We have much more Parent Squad ahead, so don't you move.